What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 4040 Vision podcast. I'm your host, Khaled Abdallah, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Sulman Haque. And today we are doing a quarter season, 5-game, 5-week, whatever, check-in on the 2025 NFL season. We're going to do a quick recap of our over-under predictions, and we're going to talk about how we feel about those predictions, what we got right, what we got wrong, and if we're going to be sticking with those predictions going into the rest of the season. So we're going to go with the same format. We're going to start with our Super Bowl contenders all the way down to our number one pick contenders. I know things have changed quite a bit in these first 5 weeks, but we're just going to do that for the sake of simplicity. So we'll start at the top with the Detroit Lions. Their over-under this season was 10.5. Both of us went over. How are you feeling about that prediction right now?
Yeah, still feeling pretty good about that prediction. Week 1 had me a little bit scared when they lost to the Packers and they just looked god awful. I was like, "Oh no, what's wrong with the Lions?" But they got right back on track. Yeah, they look like a force, man. Like I want to say the NFC might run through Detroit this year. Is how I'm feeling. So I'm sticking with the over for sure. And I
Yeah,
think the NFC might run through Detroit. Like they look pretty strong.
They have the number one rated offense. I know the usual they go with yards and yards allowed for defense, but again, points matter to me more than yards, of course. So we're going to go into, so when I'm talking about number one offense, number one defense, whatever, that's by points allowed and points scored, not this yards BS that no one really cares about. So in terms of offense, they are the number one scoring offense. They have the 18th scoring defense, which is not great. And it's a bit of a concern, but I think both of us are feeling pretty confident about the Lions the rest of the way. Next, the San Francisco 49ers. They are 4-1 right now, somehow, some way, by this, the skin of their teeth. One of the most injured teams in the NFL somehow keeps chugging along. Their over-under was 10.5. You went slightly under at 10. I went slightly over at 11. ChatGPT went 11 as well. How are you feeling about that right now?
Yeah, I think 10 is probably still where they're going to finish, given how much they're getting injured.
One.
They're
5 weeks
4-1.
of
I know, but they got some tough games coming up. Thursday night football, you can't. Man, that was just the wonkiest of games. Thursday, I hate Thursday night football. By the way, while
It's
we're
the
talking about
worst
that, like,
game for
it's the worst. It's
fantasy,
like
for
everything. It's the
everything.
worst for everything. Yeah, like oh my god, Thursday night against the Rams. I was expecting to get blown out, but somehow we won, and you can just chalk that up to being Thursday night football. But they're injured, man, and they don't have a pass rush. Nick Bosa's out for the year, so they're getting by, but I think we're gonna get to the later part of the season. It's not gonna be enough to just get by, right? Like you're gonna have to beat a couple of tough teams down the stretch there. Like I think they got to play the Rams, Seahawks, right? Like in their division, they got two tough teams coming up.
Even Arizona's
So
not an easy out.
Arizona's kind of does dumb things, so you could beat them.
We still got to play Arizona in Arizona. Yeah, Arizona does
Yeah,
very dumb things. But next 4 games or 4 weeks for the Niners: at Tampa, home Atlanta, at Houston, at the Giants. None of those are gimmies. The easiest one on paper obviously is the Giants, but even that is a completely different team. I'm still feeling pretty good about 11, considering they've already banked 4 wins. But I could see them settling in at 10 and still winning the division at 10, just because of how ruthless the rest of the division is, and everyone's just going to beat everyone else. All right, the Baltimore Ravens. They are currently 1-4. Over under was 11.5. We both went over. ChatGPT went just under at 11. How are we feeling about the Ravens right now?
not great at all, Khaled. I think I even was like, oh, I think they'll be in the Super Bowl this year. And just man, I think they're either the first or the second most injured team now in the NFL. It's
Yes.
between them and the Niners, and they're just not finding ways to win. Like they're just losing games, and Lamar Jackson is hurt now, so not feeling great about my over under. I'm going down to the under now. Like I don't even think they make the playoffs at this rate. Like I think Lamar is missing the next 3 to 4 weeks. I mean, I don't know why they thought Cooper Rush was the solution as a backup to Lamar Jackson when he runs a completely different game than Lamar.
He's not, but yeah.
He's not, but like I mean, I would have thought they'd go for a backup who's more similar playing style to Lamar, right? Not like a guy who's completely different, right? Like he's a completely different kind of quarterback. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think the Ravens can survive this. This might be put John Harbaugh on the hot seat finally. I don't know, after like 20 years, he's finally on the hot seat maybe.
Yeah, I think this is the season where he gets fired. The only saving grace obviously is the injuries. So the way that I think this could work out is it works out better in the long run for them. They end up sitting Lamar. Obviously, he's missing this week against the Rams, and they have a bye. And it's like, okay, maybe this hamstring injury becomes 6 weeks instead of 3 weeks because you don't want to, quote unquote, rush him back. And then all of a sudden you're looking at a top 10 pick, which they probably haven't had since, I don't even know, like the pre Joe Flacco era. So maybe this becomes like okay, this is finally the summer that we get to reload and like maybe do like a rebuild on the fly. And then John Harbaugh gets one more year of like, okay, let's see what you can do after we reload. But yeah, they're looking at 1-4, probably 1-5 if they lose to the Rams with Cooper Rush, and then they end up with 4 or 5 wins, which I don't think would surprise anybody, especially if they extend this Lamar injury. So just a year from hell for them. I mean, the way I was thinking is, yeah, this could just be better for them in the long run as they continue to or try to rebuild on the fly. All right, next, the Buffalo Bills. They're 4-1. They're the team that started this slide for the Ravens by having this crazy comeback against them in week 1. Maybe if that week 1 game goes a little different, we're having a different conversation about the Ravens. But anyway, 4-1. They have the number 3 rated offense, the number 19th rated defense, which is not great. But all of us went over. ChatGPT went under at just 10 wins. How are you feeling about the Bills right now?
Yeah, feeling pretty good. Not that good given the loss to the Patriots, but I think the Bills. They're always going to be an offensive juggernaut. I don't know how Josh Allen is doing it with like Keon Coleman as his number 1 guy, but he's doing it, and the James Cook is cooking. So they're doing great on offense. I think defense is mediocre, but they have enough offensive firepower to get by. And I mean, look at their schedule coming up. They have a bye. They got Atlanta bye, Carolina, KC. So I mean,
That's
I
3
think
0, possibly with the
like
way Casey's
I
playing.
think that's easily 3-0, right? I think that's easily 3-0. So they could be sitting at 7-1 in the next 4 weeks. So I think 12 wins easily for the Bills. Unless unless something catastrophic happens to like Josh Allen or something like that. But
Yeah, you can say that for every contender.
yeah, you can say that for everything. But I don't. I think the Bills are a weird team, man. I just don't get why they lose some of the games they lose. Like that Patriots game, like I just didn't get why they like. How did they end up just losing that game? Like that should have been a game they won. They were in it. They were leading. Should have won that game. Somehow they lost it, right? So
There's just like this element of chaos that comes with Josh Allen and the way he plays football. And I think that like usually the teams, they take on like the character of their best player. And as their best player, who's, probably the best quarterback in the NFL this year, but there's just that like element of chaos and just a lot of weird shit happens. Even that Ravens game we talked about, like weird things happen there. Last week they let New Orleans stick around for a while until they pulled away in the fourth quarter. There's just like a weird chaotic element to this team that usually ends up working out for them because they have, the best or second best quarterback in the NFL, but that same chaotic element lends itself to a loss like that where you're like you kind of like sit back after it happens, you're like, wait, how did that happen? There's no clear like explanation for what went wrong. But I mean, I guess credit to the Patriots for that. But before we move on to the next team, you brought up something about Keon Coleman being the number 1 option, and I think the lack of like a clear number 1 option for them. Do you think that's ultimately what's going to keep them from like really succeeding and finally winning a Super Bowl?
I think so. I think that's going to hurt them come playoff time, right? Because you need that guy that Josh Allen just trusts to catch the ball, and maybe that becomes Keon Coleman by the end of the season. I don't know, but like I feel like he's not enough of a threat that like it keeps your offense moving. But I think they got to find that number 1 guy, right? And they had it with Diggs for a little bit, but Diggs is like, but they didn't have the rest of the pieces in place. And then Diggs gets hurt, all that stuff. So I think you got to find that guy. And I think Keon Coleman is a good complement. I don't think he's the number 1 alpha guy. I think he's a better complement to a number 1 than a number 1
Yeah,
piece himself.
my money is on Khalil Shakir becoming that guy. Just reliable.
Why? Why?
I
He
feel
hasn't
like
done shown anything. He hasn't
they have
shown
good
anything.
chemistry. He's a playmaker. I feel like he's like that
He hasn't done anything this season
cheapy
so far.
third down,
You and Nasser,
reliable.
you just love this guy, huh?
I don't. I like what I've seen so far.
I don't know. He doesn't look great. He's not going to be that guy.
So regular season, we're still feeling good about the Bills. All right. The Kansas City Chiefs just lost last night. They have their 3rd loss of the season. They're 2-3. Last year, they didn't lose their 3rd game of the season until the Super Bowl. So quite a different situation for them. But as we talked about in the preview episode, they had a lot of good luck in 1-score games, 1-score or less. They were like 10-0 or something. And this year they're 0-3 in 1-score or less games. So just kind of the law of averages. Luck goes their way or not their way. Their over under was 11 and a half. We both went slightly under at 11. ChatGPT went slightly over at actually no, sorry, ChatGPT went 11 as well. I think we're feeling pretty good about going slightly under. Maybe we should have gone even more under.
Yeah, I agree. I think they might be an 8-win team this year, then, which would be great.
Does that mean no playoffs?
I think no playoffs for the Chiefs. Like I can't see it, man. Like their schedule looks awfully tough. Like their next 3 or 4 games, they're like Detroit, Washington, okay, Raiders, and then Buffalo. That's a tough 3 games out of that 4-game stretch. That's tough.
That's
And then
3-6
yeah,
by my math.
possibly
If that's how it
three and
works
six.
out, yeah.
Yeah, 3-6. Okay, the Raiders are the 1 win. Yeah, and then like they got to play the Chargers. They got to play the Broncos in the division, right? So like it's possible they barely get to 8. Like I don't know what the rest of their schedule looks like, but it's possible.
Yeah, I think the way it's shaping up is they'll be the 7 seed.
You
I
think they'll get a little lucky at the end of the? I mean, I feel like their
just
running
listen,
game is
like,
horrendous. Their running game is horrendous, and their defense has just been whatever.
their defense is 16th, their offense is 12th. It should get better with Rashee Rice coming back, but it's not like he's Randy Moss or something. Like he's a good player. He's not that big of a difference maker. I just think about this is maybe a topic for another episode, but the irony of the Chiefs not having a great running back during the Mahomes era. Because I was thinking about the history of Chiefs running backs in the 2000s, right? 2000s to 2010, leading up to the Mahomes era. You had 3 of the best running backs of maybe all time, the decade, whatever. You had All Pro Priest Holmes, 25 touchdowns a season for a little bit. Larry Johnson, All Pro until he went crazy, lost his mind, and then Jamal Charles. 3 of the best running backs in the NFL, period. First team All Pro guys, but they had nothing else. There was that one season where a receiver didn't catch a touchdown the entire year, and you had okay to mediocre to good quarterbacks, Alex Smith, Elvis Gerback, I don't even Matt Castle, like all kinds of random guys, and then you finally get this all pro Hall of Fame level quarterback, but you can't get a good running back next to him. It's not like they haven't tried. That's the thing. So
They definitely tried. Like remember they went Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like that
yeah,
guy didn't pan out. He was a bust. They could have had
it's
Jonathan
funny.
Taylor though.
Yeah, they could have had a lot of guys, and that's the crazy thing is all these teams like you're getting Bill Krosky Merritt in the 7th round if you're the Commanders, or I don't know. There's a long list of running backs that are getting drafted 3rd round and later, and they're playing great Pro Bowl level football, but the Chiefs just keep going with Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, who hasn't been explosive in 4 or 5 years. So the whole thing just baffles me. It's not like you have to pay a ton of money for a running back. So, but yeah, I just think
Yeah,
with
and they have a guy. They're just not
every
playing him. I think Brashard Smith. If they play him, he looks explosive. He could be that guy.
he does. Yeah, I know Andy Reid doesn't trust rookies, so maybe by the end of the season he's the starter. But right now it's like I don't know. But yeah, it's I think if it was still 6 teams in the playoffs, you're like, okay, they might be the odd team out. But with 7, just imagine you're the number 2 seed, you win 13 games or 12 games, and you're like, hey, you got to play Patrick Mahomes in the first round of the playoffs. Like, congratulations for that. So I'm not ready to say no playoffs for the Chiefs, but I'm thinking that yeah, you said 9 wins might be where they end up.
Put me down as no playoffs for the Chiefs. Put me
All
down.
right, I love it. Spicy hot take. All right, I guess not even that spicy because they're 2-3. But like, I'm telling you, like halfway through the game last night, when they looked like they were going to beat Jacksonville, I was like, man, the Chargers opened the door for them by losing to the Giants, and they had the weird loss to the Commanders, and now it's going to be now it's going to be the Chiefs again winning the division. So yeah, but things change quickly in the NFL. All right, the last of our Super Bowl contending teams, the Philadelphia Eagles. They are currently 4-1 with a bizarre loss to the Broncos on their resume right now. But their over under was 11. You went slightly under at 11. I went over at 13. How are you feeling about your slight under pick for the Eagles?
Still feeling pretty good about it. I don't know. Their offense is like they're scoring, but it's like strange. It's like a strange offense. Like AJ Brown's like mentally checked out or something, or he hates Jalen Hurts. I don't know what it is. Like they hate each other. I don't know what's going on there. It's like a really weird
Everybody's
dynamic.
mad. I don't know why.
Everybody's mad. Like AJ Brown's mad. Devontae Smith's mad. Like Jalen Hurts is the only one who's not mad. But maybe Saquon Barkley's mad. I don't know. He doesn't talk. But like that's what I'm saying. It's like just a weird. stuff going on there in Philly, and I think yeah, we're lost to the Broncos. Schedule is easy enough that they can get. I think they can get to 11 wins easily. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think 11 is right where they're where the Eagles will end up.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little nervous about the 13, just because I don't think I anticipated. I don't want to say I didn't anticipate, but I think some of the other teams in division are maybe slightly better than we thought they would be. And the offense, I don't want to say it's weird. I mean, they lost Kellen Moore. They have a new offensive coordinator, and we've seen a lot of times where you think, like for example, Detroit, they just picked up where they left off, and you assume, all right, that's how everybody's going to be. But not everybody's like that, and I think I've seen a lot of criticism of the play calling and the route design, and saying, oh, it's too vanilla and blah blah blah. So I can see. I mean, obviously their defense is still great. They have a top 10 defense, or sorry, they have a top 10 offense still, but their defense in terms of points is not doing so well. But they have a ton of playmakers all over the field, so maybe that evens things out. But I am getting a little nervous about the 13, and I do think they end up probably somewhere around 11 and still win the division. But who knows? All right, we're getting into our playoff teams, or what were considered playoff teams before the season. We'll start off with the Cincinnati Bengals. They are 2-3. They've lost 3 in a row since losing Joe Burrow. Over under win total was 9.5. We both went slightly over at 10. ChatGPT went under at 8. So maybe they knew something we didn't. How are you feeling about the over right now on the Bengals?
Well, I don't know if you saw this. They just traded for Joe Flacco, so
No way. I did not.
yeah, they just
All right,
just
breaking
just
news on the pod.
just like 5 minutes ago. So I think, whew,
That is
I still I still
hilarious.
I'm
Wow.
still not feeling good about it, Joe Flacco. So I'm still not feeling good about the 10 wins that I had him at.
They should have
Um,
traded for Jameis.
they should have, man. Jameis is a ball mover. Joe Flacco's like 42 years old. Anyways, I think Bengals maybe slightly better offense. Defense is still horrendous. Obviously, Joe Burrow getting hurt. I don't know when he's coming back, but I mean they might hang around 8-9 wins and then hope Joe Burrow kind of sneaks back in there maybe. But I think it's gonna be tough. 8 wins might be tough for them. Like even with Joe
I
Flacco
just
back there.
yeah, I
Yeah,
don't I don't see it. I don't think Joe Flacco is going to start for them. I think Jake Browning's still I think he's still better than Joe Flacco,
they
especially Joe
already said
Flacco.
Flacco starting. They already said it.
My god. Why?
They said Joe Flacco's the starter until Joe Burrow comes back.
Oh my god. I'm in shock. I can't believe it because the Joe Flacco we saw the first 4 weeks of the season was throwing hella interceptions.
Oh yeah,
I
he was
think he's
looking
second in the
horrendous.
league. Yeah, I don't understand that. I would have just kept rolling with Jake Browning. That's I'm like I
I mean,
kind of
Jake
love
Browning wasn't much better. He was, I don't know, he
he's
was
not.
bad too.
Yeah, he threw 3 picks yesterday, or
Yeah.
this weekend. So not great for them. I'm thinking similar to the Ravens, similar to Joe Burrow, honestly, or sorry, similar to the Bengals themselves a few years ago when Joe Burrow missed most of the season. They ended up getting Jamar Chase because they were so bad that they picked top 5. So I'm like, you should just do that again. Like, why
Get a
bother?
get an edge rusher or something. Get what you need on defense or an offensive lineman.
Get an offensive tackle. Go get
Yeah,
a top 10 talent offensive tackle or offensive line, just offensive line,
exactly.
period.
Exactly.
Sign Trey Hendrickson, give him some money, say, hey, we're sorry about the season. We still suck. Just come back. We'll give you nice 3-4 year deal, and we're gonna be better next year because we're gonna suck and we're gonna be picking in the top 5 of every round. That's what I would do. I would not have traded for Joe Flacco. I'm gonna have to look into that because that completely threw me, threw me off. Love breaking news on the pod. All right, next the Denver Broncos. They are currently 3-2. Their over under coming into the season was 9.5. We both said slightly over at 10, and I think we're feeling pretty good about the Denver Broncos. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Their defense has been pretty good.
They have the
Looks like they're
number
number
3
three.
scoring defense, by the way.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah,
Surprising.
and and I think the offense is starting to pick it up. There's times where they're early in the season it was like, oh no, is Bo Nix experiencing that sophomore slump? I was a little worried, but he looks good. He doesn't look like CJ Stroud. He looks good, and I think look like what they got coming up. The Jets, they can beat the Jets, the
Jets
Giants.
in
Like
London,
that's
yeah. Giants
yeah,
at home, week
Dallas,
2. Yeah.
Houston. Like they could easily be. I think they could win all four, and they could be 7-2 at some point, or they could be 6-2, 6-3, right? So like, I think the Broncos are just fine. They're get to 10 wins easily, and they might win the division at this rate, given how bad the Chargers are doing.
Yeah, with all the injuries, and we'll get to the Chargers. Yeah, the Broncos, I think with a defense like that, it we talked about the chaotic element that comes with the Bills. I think when you have a top 5 scoring defense, you get rid of a lot of that chaos, and it gives you such a bigger margin for error, which is what they're experiencing on offense. There's still some growing pains, like you said, Bone Nix. You're like, okay, is he going through a sophomore slump? There's still he's a really weird quarterback to watch and evaluate, because you'll watch a quarter and you'll be like, oh, this he's like 8 for 8 for 120 yards and a touchdown, and then he'll miss like his next 5 passes. He'll miss on some deep balls that you're like that look like easy, pitch and catch situations. So I think he's good. I mean, it's still his second year, so you'll give him a little bit of a benefit of the doubt, but they do look like a contending team, especially with that defense. And they're the way they get to the quarterback. They have the most sacks in the NFL. They have all this talent all over the defense that, yeah, it's looking like it's going to be between them and the Chargers, at least on paper. And then, of course, with the Chargers, with all their injuries, it's starting to add up. So I think you might be right. Are you willing to go on the record and say the Broncos win the division in week 6?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it. Broncos win the division, and Chiefs don't make the playoffs.
And Chiefs don't make the playoffs. You should write these down so we can come back to them
Let's do
the
it.
offseason.
We'll do it. I'll
All
send you an
right,
email.
please do. Next, the Green Bay Packers. They are currently 2-1-1 with a amazing tie, a 40-40 tie. So 40-40 vision, 40-40 tie. Just amazing synergy there. They currently have the 20th ranked offense and the 2nd ranked defense. Over under was 9.5. You went slightly over at 10. I went even more over at 11. ChatGPT went 8. How are you feeling about the Packers right now?
I feel pretty decent about them. I think they could still get to 10 wins. They just got to figure out this offense.
They were
I
your
don't.
Super Bowl pick, by the way.
Were they okay? Damn.
Yeah, you said Packers Ravens.
I was Packers Ravens. That's probably not happening anymore. That I don't believe in anymore. I've cooled off that Khaled. Packers Ravens. I was just trying to be different to start the season, but I think it's tough, man. Like their offense can't score. Like Jordan Love, I don't know. He doesn't look like he's figured it out. They drafted a guy, Matthew Golden. They barely throw the guy the ball. Like he gets like 3 targets a game. It's like, what is going on? Like I know you're running with Josh Jacobs, fine, but we got to see a little bit more out of Jordan Love. We got to see a little bit more out of this passing game. But I think their schedule is not difficult enough that they missed the 10 wins. But I think you got if you're gonna move past in the playoffs, you gotta get more out of Jordan Love here. Like he can't look like he's still a sophomore, right? Like he can't look like that.
Yeah, I think we keep waiting for him to like really put it all together. And he's similar to Bo Nix in that you watch him one quarter and you're like, man, this guy is Aaron Rodgers reborn. And then the next, you're like, oh, he's late stage Brett Favre with all the interceptions and boneheaded plays and stuff like that. So he has the weapons. I know you talked about Golden, and I think they're getting him more and more involved. He's getting Christian Watson back this week or next week. So they have a get right game in Cincinnati this week at home. They might put up 45 on one of the worst defenses in the NFL. So maybe that helps them get rolling. So I do think their schedule is going to allow for them to contend and push for the NFC North. I think before the season we said that they were going to win the division. I think we might be waffling on that a little bit, but who
Yeah, I
knows?
think we have to. I
think
think the Lions look much better.
but defensively, I mean, they did bank that one win against the Lions.
Mm-hmm,
Just
that's true.
defensively, again, if you have a pass rush, you can win games just off that, and maybe that's enough to propel them. But I'm really excited, I should say, for the division games, especially of how good this division is. So I think I'm still good on the over. I know they've had that tie and a weird loss to the Browns, but I'm still feeling pretty good about them going over 9.5 wins. The Houston Texans, they are currently 2-3. Over under was also 9.5. We both went over at 10 and 11 wins respectively. They have the number one scoring defense in the NFL. How are we feeling about the Texans right now?
Yeah, they're a weird team, man. Like it's like until last week, I was like, "What is CJ Stroud, man? Is he a bust now? Like, is that where we're at?" CJ Stroud. And then he kind of broke out a little bit, showed us something, and you're like, "Okay, can he keep up that momentum? Right? If he can keep up that momentum, I think the Texans can get there to 10 wins. If he can't, like, it doesn't matter how good of a scoring defense you have. If your offense can't score, you may not win those games. And they got some tough games coming up, right? Like they got Seattle, they got the Niners, they got Denver. So that's kind of a tough stretch. And then surprisingly, their own division, the Colts look actually good. The Jaguars actually look good.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, it might be a tougher path, but if CJ Stroud can keep showing up like he did last week, in week 5, like if he can keep showing up like that, I think they can get to 10 wins.
I'm completely out on the Texans based on their offensive line play, based on CJ Stroud. Sure, he had a great game against maybe the worst defense in the NFL against Cooper Rush. It's not like he had to score a ton of points to win that game. They were very comfortable. I can say that. So I do think they go 0-3 these next 3 games. They have their bye this week, but at Seattle, loss. Home San Francisco, maybe something weird happens, but I still think the Niners beat them. And then, of course, Denver also at home, who is also a great defense. And they just don't have the offensive line to protect CJ Stroud. I'm not seeing it. So, and like you said, the Colts are good. The Jaguars are good. So games that we thought might have been, okay, let's chalk that up as a win or at least a split. All of a sudden you're like, I could see them, getting swept in the division outside Tennessee. And all of a sudden you're looking at 6 wins instead of 10. So I'm way out on the Texans. They're the 3rd best team in this division, like pretty clearly, I think, right now, especially after what we saw from Jacksonville last night.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. All right. The Chargers, they are currently 3-2. Over under was 9.5 as well. We both went slightly over. ChatGPT went slightly under. How are you feeling about the Chargers?
Not great.
Yeah.
They I mean, do they even have an offensive line anymore? Like it's like I can't I think every starter on their offensive line is pretty much hurt, or like they maybe have one guy not hurt on the offensive line.
I think they're down at least 3 starters on the
At
offense.
least 3 starters, yeah. So it's and then they just lost Hampton to an ankle injury. He's on injured reserve, so things are not going well for the Chargers in these last 2 weeks. And I mean, it's weird. Like they don't get Lad McConkey involved in the games anymore. Like I don't know how Justin Herbert's gonna survive. Like I feel like a Justin Herbert injury is coming up with this offensive line being in shambles. So not feeling great about those 10 wins, Khaled. And it's just I don't know. It seems like they just got to figure out a way to get make plays, right? They got to figure out a way to get Lad McConkey the ball. They got to figure out, is it Hassan Haskins scoring touchdowns for them? I don't know, right? Like now they don't have a running back. Like Hassan Haskins is the next guy up, and so it's just everything's concerned, especially around the offensive line. And I think it's too much for Herbert to overcome, right? Even though he's got some now playmakers in Ladd and Quentin Johnson, but now he lost his running back, and he's like, anytime I'm about to get sacked, like it's like you see with CJ Stroud, he's just running for his life. It's gonna happen to Herbert now. So not feeling great about Chargers going 10 wins. I would say they're lucky if they get to 7 or 8 wins.
Okay.
I'm going out on the Chargers here.
Okay. So it sounds like, yeah, I'm out on the Texans. You're out on the Chargers. I'm not out on the Chargers just yet. The Giants loss, inexcusable. Last week, okay, you lose to Washington, good team. Jaden Daniels is back. Okay, we'll give you that. Talk to me next week when they play Miami. Because they play Miami at home, which is going to be mostly Dolphins fans, like it always is. But they have a tough 3-game stretch, so I think we'll be having a different conversation in 3-4 weeks. But if they drop the next 2, then obviously completely out on them. I'm not quite ready to give up on them. I think just because the infrastructure, the defense is still there. Yeah, I'm not ready to give up. But again, we could check in at least via text next week. We'll have a different conversation. All right, the other team in LA, the Los Angeles Rams, are 3-2. Over under was 9.5. We both went under. You went 8. I went 7. ChatGPT went 9. How are we feeling about the Rams?
Yeah, I think we were a little too negative on the Rams, maybe, but I think
Yeah, I definitely overreacted to the Stafford news. I would say
yeah,
that.
yeah. I think that was our concern. It's like, oh man, is Stafford not going to play? Like, is he going to be out a few games? Their defense is still great, but they do give up a lot of points. They still got Kyron Williams. They got Puka Nakao. They got Devontae Adams. So I mean, as long as Stafford is healthy, this team should be a 9-win team. I think maybe I was 8-9 is where I was thinking. So I think they can get to 9. They can sneak into the playoffs. Their defense is good enough to keep them up there, and then as long as Stafford's healthy, they can keep rolling.
Yeah, I'm regretting my underpick. I'll say that. I do think they do get to 10 wins. The funny thing is they are 2 plays, literally 2 plays away from being undefeated. The blocked field goal against Philly and the 4th down stop against the Niners, whatever you want to call it. They could have kicked the field goal. They would have probably ended up in a tie. If they get that 4th down, they score. So anyway, they are 2 plays away from being 5-0, and we were having a very different conversation about them because I do think they do have the talent across the board. The defense is concerning. They are 15th in points allowed, 13th in points scored, so they're kind of middle of the road when it comes to both. But I do think their next few games, I mean, at Baltimore, chalk that up as a win without Lamar Jackson, quote unquote, at Jacksonville, in London, a bye, and then they get New Orleans. 3-0 is definitely on the cards. It's not like Jacksonville is an easy out. I mean, even New Orleans is not an easy out, especially with all the fans and stuff like that. They're an exciting young
Yeah,
team.
they're an easy out.
Okay. All right. We'll say 3-0 then. Okay. Or 2-1 if they lose to Jacksonville, even though it's in London. Weird stuff. The way you feel about Thursday games, I think we both agree. I hate the Thursday games. I also hate the London games.
Oh, hate those, man. My God, hate those. I'm just
It
like,
is
why?
nice. It's nice to wake up early on a Sunday and come downstairs, but as a soccer fan, it like messes with my routine because I'm usually coming down, 6-7 o'clock with my kids and putting some soccer on as a nice like appetizer before NFL football. And now it's like, no, here's an NFL game at 6:30 in the morning, West Coast time. So don't
Yeah,
love that.
I feel like they could push it out in London a bit. What 6:30 is like 4 p.m. in London. Like they could push it out a little bit. Come
Well,
on,
they
like
don't want
it's
to
3:30.
interfere because they end like 20 minutes before the regular slate starts.
Got it.
That's why they want to do it like that. So
That's what it is. Yeah, yeah.
I
Whatever.
understand. I understand. I don't like it, but I understand.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm with
Next, the
you.
Tampa. Yeah, you're with me. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're 4-1. Over under was 9.5. You went under at 8. I went over at 11. I think you're regretting that under.
I am a little bit. The offense was just a little bit. I think their defense. I was spot on about their defense not being great, but again
24th
Baker.
in points
Yeah,
allowed. Yeah.
yeah. So you can score on them. I think that's the key to beating them. You just got to outscore their offense. You got to just outscore Baker and Emeka Ekubaka and these guys. But now Bucky Irving's hurt, right? And Rashad White looked decent, but their offense just keeps humming along, right? And I think their defense is what's going to get them into trouble. Like they got the Niners coming up, they got the Lions coming up. So I think they'll be a 9-10 win team. I think 10 wins probably is where they'll probably be at with their offense playing this well, given their schedule. So I'm not super regretful about it. I was off by 2 wins. It's okay. I'm fine with that. I can live with it.
I mean, you're off by 2 wins until they win 12 games. So I think
12
I don't
wins.
know.
I don't know about that, Khaled. We'll see.
They are an offensive juggernaut. That's all you can say. I mean, they're seventh in points scored. If the game is within a score in the last 5 minutes, they have the belief that they're going to win the game. I mean, they got some weird stuff that happened against Seattle. There's just like this sense of destiny, maybe when it comes to some of these teams. Not destiny's in they're going to win the Super Bowl, but it's like every time the game is close, they feel like they're going to win. And there's something that there's value to that, even if it's not like a tangible thing that you can't like point to as a statistic or whatever. But maybe they're the Chiefs of last season where they just get all the luck in these 1-score games because that's how it's working out for them this year, and it seems to be panning out pretty well. So I'm bullish on Tampa Bay, especially in a division that I think we maybe overrated. Atlanta coming in. We'll talk about them. Carolina is still nothing special. New Orleans nothing special. So that's 4 wins in the division that you can bank on, and then Atlanta we'll see. I mean, they already beat Atlanta in Atlanta, so things are panning out for them. All right, last of our playoff teams, the Washington Commanders. They are 3-2. Over under was 9.5. You went slightly under at 9. I went over at 11. How are you feeling about the commies right now?
Yeah, I'm feeling good about the 9 wins. I think their offense regressed a little bit, obviously with Jaden Daniels hurt, injury concerns for them a little bit. I think 9 wins probably is where they're at, given how tough their division is. The Cowboys being a little bit better than we anticipated, and the Eagles obviously a tough division opponent. So I think I like the 9 wins. I think that's where I'm sticking with that.
Yeah, I'm still sticking with the over. I like their offense. They have a top 10 offense right now. Defense is just good enough. They definitely have a good D line. They have a good pass rush. Jaden Daniels, I'm not worried about his quote unquote sophomore slump. I am worried about some of the injuries, but he looked great on Sunday against the Chargers. They have a great young running back who's, again, they found him in the 7th round. So Chiefs, take notes. You should start gambling on some of these late round running backs. Maybe you'll get somebody worth better than Isaiah Pacheco. So I'm feeling good about that pick, and I do think they still get to 10, 11 wins. And I don't think, I mean, with the way the Eagles are playing, like, would you be surprised? I mean, they were my, like, quote unquote upset pick to win the NFC East. I don't think it would be that big of an upset if they end up catching the Eagles.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, it wouldn't be that big of an upset. That just means something. The Eagles finally traded AJ Brown or something.
Or they just can't score for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean they don't look like they can't score for whatever reason. Yeah.
All right. So we're moving on to our quote unquote fringe playoff teams. These are teams with an over under of 8.5. So we'll start with the Arizona Cardinals. They're 2-3. We both went under at 7 wins. How are we feeling about the Arizona Cardinals and that under pick?
Yeah, feeling great about that. Like they might be like one of the dumbest teams in the NFL sometimes. Like I watch them play the Niners too, and like it's just like they have the pieces, right? But they just like dumb things happen to them. Like Marvin Harrison Jr. just drops a ball like that's landing right in his hands, and they somehow blow a 21-3 lead to the Tennessee Titans. The running back, he runs into the end zone, 75-yard touchdown, drops it, touchback.
I will say on that play, that should have been a touchdown. That
I
was bullshit. He had enough control. All you need is the tip of the ball to cross the goal line.
That's
And
what
you're
it looked
telling
like.
me
The tip, it looked like the
that's what I'm
tip went
saying.
across. It looked like it. But
If
like it's so
if you
hard
take
because
that
he's
deflection,
kind of like getting ready to drop it right before. So it's like, but like again, that's a dumb play. What are you doing, bro? Just get in the end zone.
listen, I'm not defending it. I think that is one of the stupidest things in the NFL. Call it football, whatever. Anytime I see somebody do that, I'm like, cross the end zone, do whatever the hell you want. Do a backflip, take off your shirt, moon the crowd, do a fake gun celebration, do whatever the hell you want, get a 50-yard penalty. Like it doesn't matter. Just score the touchdown. I don't think I have seen, like literally in my years of watching football, I don't think I've seen a team do that and then go on to win the game. At least like from the last last 2 seasons, just the 3 examples that come to mind, the 2 on the Colts, Jonathan Taylor last year, AD Mitchell this year, and then DeMercado this year, all 3 of them lost the game. And they were all close games, or they were, and yesterday they were, it was not a close game where he dropped the ball like that and they end up losing. There's just something, I hate the phrase football gods or whatever, but it's like you are just doing something so boneheaded, so dumb that it just sucks all the life out of your team. Like unless you're up by 40 points and you do that, if it's a close enough game, they're not gonna be able to shake it. Because and then did you see that play where they fumbled the ball, they intercepted the ball, then they fumbled it and they kicked it away
Yeah,
like
that's why I said they're one of the dumbest teams in the NFL. Like I don't know how these things keep happening to them.
dude, there is
It's just
literally like
it's just bad.
500 other things that could have happened on that play besides
Yeah.
a Titans touchdown.
Literally, he intercepts it, he fumbles it, the ball rolls into the end zone, Tyler Lockett picks it up, touchdown.
Incredible. Just an incredible
Incredible.
sequence.
Yeah.
So they are also 2 plays away from being maybe not undefeated, but 4-1. But
Maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
just it's that same chaotic element that you have with Kyler Murray running around for 20 seconds on a play and then getting a first down. It's that same chaos that just leads to them blowing
I
a
hate
21 to 3
Kyler
lead.
Murray. Like I just don't like that guy. He's just I don't
Yeah,
know what it is about
probably
him.
your
I just don't like him.
least favorite player in the NFL. But
Probably,
yeah,
bro. He also dresses like a freaking Oompa Loompa, man. Like I don't know what he's dressing up as pregame. Like there was one game he looked like an Oompa Loompa to me. I swear to God, it looked like he's dressed up like an Oompa
the
Loompa.
thing is, I mean, in like real life terms, he's not that short. He's like 5'10", you know.
Yeah,
But
for sure. Yeah,
I think it's like just the way he dresses, it makes him look shorter. I don't know. Maybe he needs a new stylist.
yeah.
But
I think it's like that. Like he was wearing like super baggy like shorts, and then he had like the little fro going, and then he had like this big old like jacket on. I was like, bro, you look like an Oompa Loompa. Like you guys just wear some decent clothes, you'll be fine.
so their next 3 games at Indy, home to the Packers, at Dallas. I could see
1-2.
very
Yeah,
very
0-3, 1-2 easily.
0-3. I'll go on the
Oh, and
record.
3. All right, oh, you're giving Dallas a lot more credit.
They score. They score a ton of points.
That's fair.
All right, the Chicago Bears. They are currently 2-2, thanks to a blocked field goal against my Raiders a couple weeks ago. They had their bye in week 5. Their over under was 8.5. You went slightly under at 8. I went over at 10. How are you feeling? You feeling good?
I'm feeling good. I could probably even go even more lower than that, like maybe 6 wins, 7 wins. Yeah, I don't know. It's Caleb Williams just doesn't seem to have figured it out quite. You take a tight end in the top 10 and he looks like a bust. Okay, Roma Dunze is looking pretty good. I like that.
He's wide receiver
Uh,
1 now. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing well. So I've just it's just the Bears are a weird team. It doesn't look like they've quite figured it out on offense. They haven't quite figured it out on defense. They're kind of middle of the pack. So 7-8 wins is where I still see them.
I'm feeling good. I think a game like that, I know it's against a bad team in the Raiders, but they go down the field, score a game winning or go ahead touchdown, and then last year they had a freak play go against them that derailed everything, and then this year they get a blocked kick to win a game. And I think it's like these little things that start to add up, where I think they build the confidence. And I do like what I see from Caleb Williams. He looks capable as a quarterback. He has some special magic to him. We see some of the throws that he makes on the run, especially. And I'm looking at their next 4 games. Okay, at Washington, that's a tough one. Home to New Orleans, that's probably a dub. At Baltimore, possibly without Lamar Jackson. Even with Lamar Jackson, they have one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Maybe that's a shootout. Who knows? And then home to Cincinnati. And Cincinnati, again, without Joe Burrow, maybe Joe Flacco comes to Chicago. So 3-1, and then all of a sudden
Maybe or 2-2.
sure, even 2-2. I'm still feeling good about 10 wins, or at least definitely the over for 8.5.
All right.
I know it's a tough
All
division,
right.
but I do see it happening. All right, the Miami Dolphins, they're currently 1-4. We both went under. You went 7 wins. I went way under at 5 wins. I think we're feeling pretty good about the under here on the Dolphins.
Yeah, 100%. I probably should have gone with you and said 5 wins. They just look awful. They just look awful. Lost Tyreek for I don't know how long. Tyreek's injury is nasty. I don't know how they're like Tyreek's gonna be back next year. I'm like, no way. Tyreek's missing this year and next year, like easily. Yeah, and I think this is a career-ending injury for Tyreek. Like honestly, he's not gonna be the same player.
Yeah,
And
early
Dolphins just
30s.
look horrendous.
Yeah, terrible defense, 28th ranked defense. Offense is good enough. They're okay, 18th. Yeah, they'll be picking in the top 5. I think we're feeling good. Next, the Minnesota Vikings. They are currently 3-2 after a nice comeback win against the Browns last week in London. One of those weird London games. You went under at 7. I went also slightly under at 8. How are we feeling right now about the Vikings?
Yeah, they're a weird team. Like they have a really good defense. I think if they continue with Carson Wentz, they could be like a 9-win team. I think if they bring back JJ McCarthy and let him play, I think my 7 wins is about right. I think Carson Wentz is good for 2 more wins for them. So their defense is really good. I think they got a little bit of a tough schedule coming up after the bye. They got Philly, they got the Chargers, they got Detroit. Like they could easily go 0-3, 1-2 on that. Like it's tough. Like I think the Vikings have to stick with Carson Wentz. I don't think you can bring back JJ McCarthy. Like
I'm with you.
yeah, I think they missed on that on the quarterback there, and they're gonna have to figure it out next season. But I'd rather, or maybe you do bring him back and tank and try to get a quarterback next year. Maybe that's what you do if things are not going well. If you end that stretch 0-3 and you're sitting at like I don't know 3-5 now, right? You start thinking about it, and then maybe you just start tanking the season if you lose a couple more and go for a quarterback.
Yeah, I think they're just the odd team out in the NFC North. The NFC North is just a really good division, and one of these teams is going to be on the outside looking in, and it's definitely going to be them. I think based on what we've seen, they're still exciting. Carson Wentz is still, he's got a little bit of magic. He's making some plays. He's still making some boneheaded mistakes. We saw the week before against the Steelers. So that's just like the nature of Carson Wentz, where he'll just make an amazing play, and then the next play he'll just throw it all away because he couldn't throw the ball away when he was getting sacked or make a stupid turnover or something like that. So I like him better than JJ McCarthy. I don't think they go quarterback next year unless they end up picking top 3. But yeah, just outside looking in for the Vikings. All right, we're getting down to the last couple teams of the fringe playoff teams, quote unquote. The New England Patriots are 3-2. Over under is 8.5 coming in. You went over at 10. I went under at 7. You feeling good about the over right now?
Yeah, I am. I'm feeling pretty good. I think they can get to 10 wins, right? They just beat the Bills, right? That was the toughest team in their division, so they beat them. I think the only thing is they got to get Trayvon Henderson in Baltimore. They got to get him and get him in the thing, man. Like get him in the mix. I don't know what Mike Vrabel's beef with him is. Like they're like, oh look, Mike Vrabel and Henderson don't even look at each other when they're passing by in the locker room. like people are reporting that kind of stuff. Like
Happen. So weird.
it's just weird. It's just weird. Like get the man the ball. Ramondre Stevenson cannot hold on to the football. get Henderson, your more explosive player at the ball. Like that's it. But I think they'll be just fine. Drake May looks pretty decent. Defense is pretty solid. So I think they can get to 10 wins here and they'll be a playoff team, wild card
Yeah,
team.
I'm regretting my under pick. I think also just based on the other teams in the division, you're looking at the Jets, who are awful, the Dolphins, who are trending, they're bad, trending towards awful. So you got some banking some wins there. I do think that they end up being a playoff team. If you asked me after week 1, I would have said no, but they probably should have also beaten the Steelers. They had 2 fumbles on the goal line in a 1-score game against Ramondre Stevenson, the guilty party. I don't know if it was both, but I remember one specifically. So he just can't hold on to the ball. So I'm with you. Get Henderson the ball. He is explosive. Let's see what he can do. But yeah, I'm seeing them as one of the wild card teams, maybe ahead of the Chiefs as the 6 or 7 seed. Speaking of potential wild card teams, or maybe even division winning teams, the way things are going in the rest of the AFC North with the quarterback carousel, I think the Steelers are the only AFC North team that Joe Flacco has not played for just yet. So maybe next year he completes the set and plays for the Steelers. They're currently 3-1. Their over under was 8.5. We both went slightly over at 9 wins. You feeling good about the 9 wins right now?
Yeah, I think they'll probably exceed that given how bad the division is. Like, we didn't expect the Ravens to be this bad. If that continues, Bengals are bad, Browns are bad. I mean, that like they could go 6-0 in the division right there, Khaled, and they'd be 9 wins right there. I don't have they played a division game yet? I'm not sure if they played one yet. I don't think they have.
I don't remember, but I know they have a couple coming up. They have Cleveland and Cincinnati. Cleveland with Dylan Gabriel and Cincinnati with, I guess, Joe Flacco. So it's very strange. But yeah, I think we're both feeling good about the over. I think we 10, 11 wins, maybe even a division title, again, considering how the rest of the division is going. All right, we're on to the playoff pretenders category. The Atlanta Falcons are currently 2-3. The over-under win total was 7.5. We both went over at 9. How are you feeling about the Falcons right now?
Yeah, man. I thought their offense was going to be better. I knew their defense was going to be good. Looks like they're the number 4 defense in terms of scoring, but their offense is horrendous, man. Like Penix Jr.
30th.
doesn't look good.
30th
Yeah,
scoring offense. Yikes.
that's bad, man. That's bad. And you got weapons like you got Bijan, you got Drake London, right? Like he should be making more happen, and so that's a little bit concerning that he's not looking great. Maybe it's a little bit of that sophomore slump for him too, where I mean he didn't play a lot as a rookie, but he's just trying to figure things out. Hopefully he figures some stuff out after the bye. It's possible to get to 9 wins, but not feeling too good about it, Khaled. But I think I'll stick by it. I'll stick to the 9 wins.
Yeah, I'm sticking to it. Not feeling great about it, but I'm sticking to it because of that defense. That defense seems sustainable, and maybe the offense picks it up, but not feeling super great about the over right now. The Dallas Cowboys, they are 2-2-1 or 2-1-2, however you want to put it. They have 2 wins, 2 losses, and a tie. To keep it simple. Over under was 7.5. We both went under. How are you feeling about that right now?
Yeah, they look a little bit better than we thought. I mean, obviously defense is horrendous, but
It
Dak
isn't
is
exactly
picking up.
like we thought. We
Is
said
that yeah,
good
yeah? That's
offense.
what we
That
said.
was
We did say that.
yeah. At least I
We did
said
say
good
that.
offense, horrible defense, and it seems like it's working out that way.
Yeah, but it's they're winning games with a horrible defense. That's the difference. We didn't think they'd win this many games, but let's see. I think 7-8 is probably where they end. So I'm comfortable with my 7. I think I'll stay at 7. You know,
Yeah, I'm
something will happen.
comfortable with the under as well. The division is tough. The Giants are not an easy out, even though they beat the Giants once in that crazy shootout. They still have to go to New York to play the Giants. It's got to play the Commanders twice, the Eagles. So I'm feeling good about the 7 or at least under 7.5. The Colts, Jesus, 4-1, over
Oof,
under 7.5.
we were wrong.
We both went under. They're about to hit their over in like the next 4 weeks. So what the hell happened here? What did we not see with the Colts?
Couple of things, Khaled. I think one, Daniel Jones is actually a real NFL quarterback when he has an offensive line. That's number one. They're the number 2 scoring offense in the NFL, and then their defense. My goodness, their defense is playing great too. They're the number 5 scoring defense in the NFL. We did not anticipate that. I didn't anticipate their defense being good. I thought we were like, it'll be like below average offense. Daniel Jones is not going to be great. Like we've seen from Daniel Jones what he is. But turns out, man, give the guy a real offensive line. He has time to actually make plays, make his reads, do that kind of stuff. Has a real run game with Jonathan Taylor behind him, and they're thriving, man. So good for them. I'm happy for Daniel Jones to see him thriving here. I'm happy to see the Colts thriving here. Yeah, I think they'd win the division. We were way off on this one.
Yes, we were. They are currently the number one seed in the AFC. So kudos to them. Kudos to Danny Dimes. I love a good redemption story. He's looked great. Jonathan Taylor is leading the NFL in touchdowns. I did not see that happening. He has weapons all over the field. Tyler Warren, A.D. Mitchell, Michael Pittman. So credit to the Colts. I mean, that's all we can say. Hey, we were wrong. Let's take the L on this one. All right, the next team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are also 4-1. Another over under 7.5. You went over at 9. I went under at 7. So I think you're feeling good right now about your over.
I am.
What did you see that I did not see about the Jaguars?
I think it's just like I thought Trevor Lawrence would redeem himself under Liam Cohen, but I don't. But like, because he's a good offensive mind. Hate the guy personally, but he's a decent offensive mind. I don't like that bullshit he did with Robert Saleh after the game. Like, bro, Robert Saleh gonna knock your ass out. But like, Robert Saleh would knock his ass out, bro. He come. He was ready to. He was ready to.
Cohen is also, he's not one of those nerdy offense coordinators. He's a former football player himself. I think he played
Robert Saleh would knock his ass out. Knock his ass out.
Probably.
He still would have. Yeah.
I don't know, man. You see the shoulders on Liam Cohen? I know Robert Saleh's
I know, but he was like talking shit to Robert Saleh, but then he was like running him backwards while he was talking shit. Like he was one of those guys. But anyways,
yeah,
the offense really well, but I'm surprised they're doing this well without Brian Thomas Jr. when the Niners played him, and they were getting after Brock Purdy. Granted, Brock Purdy not 100%, but they were getting after him. They were beating Trent Williams pretty easily too. So that just tells you how good their line is.
Yeah, they're explosive. I guess Liam Cohen is an offensive genius. He's making it happen. Brian Thomas did come up with some big plays last night. He had the big catch on third down in that game-winning drive. He drew the the defensive PI in the end zone. That basically ended up winning them the game. They have stars. They have Josh Hines-Allen. They have Devin Lloyd, who's like looking like the best or second best linebacker in the NFL after Fred Warner, but just looks incredible. And it's going to be awesome to see them and the Colts go head to head. But yeah, we're looking at 2 playoff teams from the AFC South. And I think if you asked us before the season, which obviously you did, I don't think we saw that happening. Maybe you did because you picked 9 wins. That's maybe.
Yeah, I thought they were fringe wild card for sure.
Yeah. So again, I took the L on this one. Go Jags. They're amazing to watch. I'm going to take a little victory lap on Travis Hunter because he's been fun to watch. He hasn't put up huge stats, but he's been making plays. I know you're not sold on him, but I'm liking what I see so far. All right. The Las Vegas Raiders, they're currently 1-4. We both went slightly over at 8 wins. I don't think we're feeling good about that right now. I don't want to spend too much time here, but what did we get wrong about the Raiders?
Basically, they're not a great offense. I think you let me. I think I let you talk me into Geno Smith hype. Like Geno Smith will help this offense. You talked me into it, Khaled. You talked me into the over. That's what I'm going to say.
Not talk you into the over. You picked the over on your own. We thought Geno Smith would be a
much better quarterback than he is.
Yeah, we thought he would be a good quarterback, decent quarterback. We're like, all right, you getting the Geno from Seattle, okay. He's fringe top 10, top 15 on a good, or so fringe, top 15, top 10 on a good day, whatever it might be. And then all of a sudden, he looks like the worst quarterback in the NFL. He's throwing 9 interceptions, some of them on tips, obviously, but he looks like the worst quarterback in the NFL. And that's it. I am now currently rooting for a 1-16 season, so we can draft Lenora Sellers from South Carolina, and then we can move on from there.
I mean, knowing the Raiders, they probably end up drafting Arch Manning, Colin. That's probably what happens.
I mean, I want to see the rest of the season before I decide if he's going to be a bust or not. But yeah, just give me something to be excited about for next year. All right, the Seattle Seahawks. They are currently 3-2. 7.5 was their win total. You went under at 7. I went over at 9. How are you feeling about the Seahawks?
I think I was maybe slightly wrong here. They might be an 8-9 win team more than a 7-win team. Defense, pretty solid. Offense, playing pretty well. The Sam Darnold JSN connection has been pretty good.
They're 5th in
The most
scoring offense.
maddening the most maddening thing about the Seahawks is actually their run game. Like, I don't get it. Like, just give Kenneth Walker the ball. Zach Charbonnet is like useless. Like, but yet they keep trying to make this a 50-50 backfield. I don't understand it. Like, Kenneth Walker should be the main guy. Zach Charbonnet should kind of sprinkle in here and there. But he also steals Kenneth Walker's touchdowns. Like, hate it from a fantasy
Yeah,
perspective. Like,
goal
that's
line
just
guy, he's a
fantasy.
vulture.
Yeah. But I think, yeah, I mean, I'm surprised at how well the offense has been playing. I didn't think they'd be playing this well. So I think that's been the saving grace. And I think 8-9 is hard with the division as it is with the Rams, Niners. Um, but I think, yeah, 8-9 wins, fringe playoff team possibly.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about them as the 6 or 7 seed. Again, because of the division, it looks like they made the right decision in picking Sam Darnold over Geno Smith. They have a true number one wide receiver in Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think they're trying to protect Kenneth Walker because he seems to always get hurt for a few weeks a season. So I think that's why they're doing the 50-50 split. So it makes sense. But they're fun to watch. I mean, Sam Darnold in this deep ball. I mean, the game last night or last week against the Bucks, probably the game of the week, and they're just fun. The game against Arizona was fun too. So they're one of the teams that you get excited when you see them pop up on Red Zone. All right, so we're moving into the last two categories: the not bad but not good teams, which I think they should just be bad. The bad teams, the Carolina Panthers, 2-3, over under 6.5. You went slightly over at 7. I went slightly under at 6. Do you think they get to 7 wins?
I think it's doable. It's possible, but we'll have to see. I think they need a little bit more out of their offense. Like, I thought they would be a much better offense than they are. I think they're 22nd in scoring. So I think, but it's doable. 2-3. They just need 5 more wins. That's possible. I think it's feasible for them.
I'm feeling good about my under. Next 4 weeks: home Dallas, at the Jets, home Buffalo, at Green Bay. That's got 0-4 written all over it. Maybe
Oh, come
more
on.
than
They'll take
9.
the Jets. They'll take the Jets.
I don't know, man. Justin Fields looking pretty good, even if they're not. The rest of the team's not doing so great. They're
Aren't the
just
Jets winless? Aren't the Jets
the
haven't
Jets
won a
are
game?
winless. They
Yeah.
are, but they played some tough teams so far, and they played them tough for the most part. I guess I don't know why. There's something I just can't quit the Jets, even though we were low on them coming in. But yeah, I'm feeling good about my under. I think you're feeling good about your over, but yeah, I don't see it. The New Orleans Saints, they are currently 1-4. Over under win total 6.5. We both went under. I went way under at 3. You went 5. I think we're feeling pretty good about the under, even though they are a pretty fun team to watch.
Yeah. I don't know why you find them fun to watch, Khaled. I find them horrible to watch. Like, I don't enjoy
I
watching
like
the
Spencer
Saints.
Rattler. I don't know
Do
why.
you?
I like
I
Spencer
don't like
Rattler.
him.
Yeah.
I don't like. He's such a confusing quarterback. Like, you watch him play and you're like, this guy should be good. Like, he looks like he should be good, and then his decision making is just all over the place. You're like, what, where are you throwing that? Like, why did you throw there? Like, that didn't make sense. Like, so I don't know. He's frustrating to watch. If I was a Saints fan, I would be frustrated watching Spencer Rattler.
That's fair. I think they've been in every game, with the exception of even the Buffalo game. They were in that game till the fourth quarter. I think Seattle was the only team that really like put it to them. But the other games, they were in it. And they made it exciting. They made it fun. They had a last minute loss to the Niners, last minute win against the Giants last week. I like Spencer Rattler as a player. I think he's fun to watch. He's got some magic to him. I like it. It might not always work out, but maybe he ends up being like Jameis Winston, where he just like throws a bunch of picks and just because he's got a good deep ball and he makes things happen. He's got some mobility to him. This is way too much time spent on the Saints. Anyway, they will be picking top 5. The New York Jets are 0-5. I went over on the 6.5. You went under. What the hell is going on with the Jets?
Their defense, one, is horrendous, and then two, a lot of their playmaking just comes from Justin Fields, but it's a little bit too late. I feel like they're getting like they go down 14-0, and then Justin Fields is bringing them back somehow. But like, you can't go down 14-0. And then Justin Fields is like, garbage time. Oh, let's go, second nap, garbage time. I'm down 28, nothing. Okay, let me go. Let me start making plays. So yeah, I think even 5 wins might be generous for them. So they're just bad.
Yeah, they have the first ranked defense in the NFL, 16th ranked offense, scoring offense and defense. They are the only team in the NFL without a takeaway, even though they did block a kick against Tampa. So I guess that kind of counts. But this was not what we expected from a team that hired a defensive head coach in Aaron Glenn. I'd be surprised. I mean, it's just like he's probably not going to last the season. Maybe they have to let him last the season because it's his first year, but he seems like a one and done. And then he's probably going to head back to Detroit. But yeah, they are probably picking top 3 as well. All right, the number 1 pick contenders, our last 3 teams here. The Cleveland Browns are currently 1-4. Their over/under win total was 4.5. You went 3, I went 5, so slightly over. How are you feeling about the Browns right now?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I don't think they make it. They might make it to barely make it to 3 wins here. now that they now that they're starting Dylan Gabriel, they look pretty decent against the Vikings. But let's see, let's see how Dylan Gabriel goes the rest of the way. But I think tough schedule for them, right? Like the only team I can see them possibly beating is Miami, and like that's it. Like the rest of their schedule looks pretty hard. So at 2 to 3 wins, I think this is possible, and then they go actually find their franchise quarterback. It's not Dylan Gabriel.
I do think they get to 5, just because of the rest of the division. I think Dylan Gabriel looked pretty good against a tough defense in Minnesota. I mean, if we know anything about Brian Flores and that defense, like they make things very confusing, and he looked good. He had enough juice to get them, to put them ahead at least coming into the last, few minutes of the game. So I liked what I saw from him. I like their defense, even though they're 22nd in scoring defense. I do think they have a lot of talent. Obviously, it's not like a big surprise to say a team with Myles Garrett has talent on defense. So I think that's going to be enough to get them to that 5-win range. But yeah, they're probably picking another quarterback next season. I want to see Shedeur. Give me Shedeur. Why are we wasting time with Dylan Gabriel? I'm just kidding. He looked good. I feel bad. I kind of feel bad for him because he's like the quarterback that nobody wants because most of the internet is rooting for Shedeur. And then
Yeah.
the other half of the internet is rooting against Shedeur. And he's like, man, I just want to play football. And he's caught in the middle of some like crazy culture war between the Shedeur fans and the Shedeur haters. So I feel bad for you, Dylan Gabriel. I hope you succeed. I'll say that. All right, the New York Giants, another fun team. They're 1-4, but they've been a very exciting 1-4. We both went under the 5.5. I think we're feeling good. Are you feeling good about 5.5?
Yeah, I'm feeling good under 5.5 for sure. Yeah, especially since they lost Malik Neighbors to that injury, so not ideal to bring in Jackson Dart and then lose Malik Neighbors and things like that. But it's fine. Jackson Dart's gonna hopefully grow from this. I mean, one of two things will happen: either Jackson Dart's gonna grow from all these losses, or his confidence is gonna be so shook that you might be finding another quarterback next year. So one of two things, you'll find out what it is.
Yeah, I wonder if, with the benefit of hindsight, if they would have just stuck with Russell Wilson with the Malik Neighbors injury, because they're like, we'll just let Russell get the shit kicked out of him and then bring, Jackson Dart on for like the last 8 weeks of the season or something like that. But I will say that their confidence is the one thing this guy is not lacking. Like you see he's got the crazy eye black on one eye, the hair. He looks like a movie star. He's got the diamond chain on under his pads. Like not many quarterbacks you see out there with some ice on under their pads. He just like, I hate to use this word because it feels like such a Gen Z thing, but he's got like aura. You know what I'm saying? Like he's got swag. Like I guess that's what we would call it as
We
millennials.
call
We
it
call it
swag,
swag.
yeah. I
You
don't
know,
know why people. Yeah, I don't know. You can have all the swag you. Yeah, you can have all the swag you want, bro. But like, you gotta win games. I mean, once he
no,
starts
and
throwing picks and that, but like, I get it. He's a confident dude, but you start
he
losing, you
threw
start throwing
3 picks
picks, you start
in 1
getting.
week. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you start getting hurt, you start getting hit. You're gonna lose that confidence real quick in your abilities. Not, he may still be a very confident person, but all that losing and all those hits and all those interceptions, you might start overthinking some things.
Very fair. I think we're both feeling good about our under for different reasons. They are, again, still a fun team to watch. Like, give me Cam Scatterboo highlights all day, and Jackson Dart. He's definitely in that like one read and go type mentality right now. Like I see him escape the pocket way too early. He's doing a lot of the shit that you see from the usual things that you see from an athletic young quarterback. But yeah, I hope he stays healthy because he is fun to watch. He's running out of weapons, but give me Cam Scatterboo and Jackson Dart highlights all day long. So again, they're not going to be a good team, but they'll be a fun team to watch. The last team here is not fun, not good, but they'll probably still beat my Raiders next week. And that is the Tennessee Titans, who are 1-4 after a miracle victory against the Cardinals. They should be 0-5 in a sane world. We both went under. Actually, sorry, you went under. I went slightly over on the 5.5. I am definitely regretting that. What is wrong with the Titans? Should we just say everything?
Everything, yeah. I mean, it's just growing pains with Cam Ward, right? Like, and like their offense has been okay. It's not been great. It's like growing pains with Cam Ward. I don't think he has enough weapons out there. Calvin Ridley looks whatever. Tony Pollard's been okay. What else? Who else are his weapons, right? Go get the man some weapons. tank and get him a number 1 wide receiver. That's what they need to do. So
They don't even need to tank. Just keep doing what you're doing.
yeah, I mean, just keep doing what you're doing. Let Cam Ward keep figuring it out. Keep figuring it out. Defense hasn't been great either. So yeah, I think he just needs a weapon. I think their line is pretty solid. They'll build around him. Give the Titans 2-3 years. They'll be a playoff team.
Yeah, I think on paper that was one of the reasons I went with the overs. On paper, I thought the weapons were good. Calvin Ridley is a good wide receiver. I loved Alec Manor, who's their rookie wide receiver, and they've shown some chemistry. He's made some crazy plays. I thought he was worthy of being like a day 2 pick. I was high on Tony Pollard. I don't know why. They got Tajay Spears back. Maybe that adds some explosion. And they have Okonkwo, who's a pretty decent tight end. I know he's like a late pickup for most people on fantasy. It's like, okay, you're nothing special, but you're decent enough. And you're like, okay, on paper, this is a middle of the pack, maybe like 20th ranked offense. I don't think we expected them to be the first ranked offense, but maybe they get some confidence after beating Arizona. They probably beat the Raiders this week and maybe things get rolling. But yeah, I think we're feeling good about the under, or you're feeling good about the under. I'm not feeling so good about my over, especially in a division where all of a sudden you have maybe 3 playoff teams if the Texans figure it out. I don't think the Texans figure it out, but all of a sudden you're looking at 3 teams that are contending for a playoff spot, which we did not predict. So tough break for the Titans, but like you said, they'll end up tanking or whatever and get a top 5 pick. Is there anything? So that's all the teams. Our Super Bowl picks. I mean, yours a little different. You went Packers and Ravens. I don't remember who I picked. I think I picked the Chiefs, and I don't even know.
Somebody, yeah.
But
I'm gonna switch now, Khaled. I'm gonna switch to the Lions versus let's see, the Bills. Lions Bills. Let's go that.
what about the
That'd be
Colts?
great. Nah, I don't want the Colts. I want the Bills.
What the most unlikely Super Bowl would probably be Colts, and I don't even know, maybe like the Bucks.
Colts and Commanders, something like that.
Colts Commanders. That would probably not sell a lot of tickets. Maybe it
Mm-mm.
would, but
Who
it
knows?
just goes to show you, we anticipate things to go a certain way. We're thinking chalk, and then all of a sudden you get a lot of worst to first teams and injuries. Damn injuries, man. That's the one thing. If we did that, if we actually like tried to account for injuries, it would just be the biggest waste of time. So we're not going to do that, and we're just going to say injuries suck, and they always determine the fate of the NFL season. It's something that's not fun to talk about, but it's something that always ends up being the biggest factor. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Sulman, for your time. Make sure to hit that follow, like, and subscribe button wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast. And we appreciate you guys. Peace.